Inmates and mental illness. Being diagnosed while being incarcerated. Upon entering the prison, all inmates are asked a series of questions by the nurse. That is basically a brief history report on physical and mental status. There are later signs that will show after someone has been locked up for a decent amount of time. It doesn't always have to be right when they go in. Sitting for a while stirs some thoughts, and people do go crazy, and they need to be either on medication or talk to somebody. For men, 3.7 are diagnosed as psychotic, 10% major depression, 65% personality disorder, 47% antisocial personality disorder. For women, 4% psychotic, 12% major depression, 12% personality disorder. Inmates with mental illness. 2 million inmates with a mental illness or medical crisis are booked in the jail every year. 15% are men, 30% are women. No treatment is administered to an inmate when booked into custody unless they get worse or show no signs of improvements. 83% of inmates end up in jail due to not having access to treatment on the outside. So once you get in the jail, you will be able to have access to medicine that you need. Sometimes it's generic depending on the pill, it's generic because they try to save money and they don't want to bend the budget more than what they already do. Now, depending on the drug, they might have to give the real drug because the inmates can take them, and if they're not checked properly, they will save them, and they will be just administered around the prison throughout the other inmates. So the facilities offer medication for the inmates, a rehabilitation for those with addiction, as long as they accept the help. If you don't accept the help, obviously it's not going to work for you. Some facilities offer counseling. If it's really bad, then the inmate might be sent to the hospital. They also make you strip. They give you this apron thing. It kind of has a little weight to it, but you can't break it. You can't shred it. You can't self-harm with it. You can't try to kill yourself with it. And you're completely naked. So, to keep them safe. These are a couple inmates. The ones that are later is from a TV series. It's a documentary. It's real life. Like I said, the late ones, they were in jail. They were normal people. They were undercover inmates. They were helping the prison get intel, and they also did for their own personal experience and get their own personal knowledge that they wanted. But they also suffered from some disorders, like their anxiety kicked in, their depression kicked in. Some couldn't handle it, some left. You didn't have to stay this full 60 days. If you wanted out, you could get out. So, for the fact that they only had to be in there for 60 days and they could leave if they wanted to, I can't imagine that the actual prisoners that do have a revolving door aspect, what the jail or prison time serving takes on a toll on their minds. So these guys barely did it for 60 days. If they did it for 60 days, I can't imagine being in there for 4 years or longer, or even life. Here's some more people that also did it. He actually was in for 120 days. And this guy right here is an actual inmate. He punched him in the face. I believe he had schizophrenia. He thought the TV was talking to him because he went off his meds, and he was trying to say that this guy right here was a baby killer, and he was not. So, now on to some serial killers that I found. You have Ed Gein. He was born in Wisconsin, United States, charged with murder after mutilation of multiple victims. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he could not stand trial because they saw him to be unfit for the stand. Finally, he stood trial after 10 years and was found guilty, but he spent his days in a mental hospital. Jeffrey Dahmer was born in Wisconsin as well. 17 people killed before he was caught. Diagnosed with borderline personality disorder after being locked up, he was murdered by fellow inmates. David Berkowitz, he was born in New York. Nickname was Son of Sam. Crime spree occurred between 1976 and 1977. He took the lives of 6 people. He was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic after he was being caught. He told investigators that his neighbor's dog told him to kill the people, and that is why they died. So, with all this information, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you were diagnosed, were not diagnosed, if you killed somebody, if you didn't kill somebody. At the end of the day, your mental health will take a toll when you sit in prison. It will, one way or another, it will take a toll, especially around the holidays, since Thanksgiving is coming up. There's people, it's a revolving door for them. They don't know how to break the system, and they want to break the system, but they fail to do so. Doesn't mean they don't miss their family. So now it is Thanksgiving. Soon after Thanksgiving, it will be Christmas. People start to get depressed around this time. A lot of people, they want to get out, and if they can't leave, they end up sometimes suicidal because they can't get out. And it's honestly kind of sad. But even just being cooped up, and then if you do something wrong and you lose the freedom that you have of going to the rec yard or being in the day room if they have a day room or whatever the case may be, and you're in the SHU and you only get out 1 hour a day, that really, really kills your mental state. Especially because it's a closed area, you can't do anything. I watched a documentary where the prison forget the prison, but when you're in segregation, they take everything away from you. So you can't sleep, you can't do anything. You can sleep, but it's not going to be comfy. It really is not going to be comfy. And once you leave prison, the help you were getting inside, they don't help you on the outside. You're on your own. You have to figure out how to continue the help that you need. Thank you.